Thunderous Scissor and Hitmontop of Cory Connor.
Yeah, so once again, it is the dual primal composition against the Kyogre Rayquaza combination, and there are so many things that kind of dictate this matchup. I mean, speed control is always so important in any match, and obviously Cory has Thundurus, which can obviously use its Thunder Wave, and Togekiss, which could potentially use a Tailwind. Shu, on the other hand, has a bunch of Pokemon. Cresselia, so common, you know, Cresselia seems to make the finals of every World Championship that it's basically allowed in, and of course it gets access to so much speed control, Trick Room, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, all options. Whimsicott's actually a really cool Pokemon here as well, especially if it has an attacking move. For example, Moonblast, which could hit that Rayquaza for super effective and the Hitmontop for super effective. I also think that the Ferrothorn is a big deal here because it could potentially wall Cory's team.
Yeah, and you could possibly see two different speed control modes on that team. You've got the Cresselia, which has access to that Trick Room. Whimsicott is known for using Tailwind as well, so Shu can be able to mix things up as we go into this World Championships final in the Junior Division. Guys, give it up for Shu Harasaki and Cory Connor. We're about to go into it. So we can see Togekiss and Rayquaza for Cory, and we can see Kangaskhan and Whimsicott for Shu.
So really cool lead here from both players, you know, not Pokemon that we see typically very often in the Togekiss and the Whimsicott here. So, of course, Kangaskhan always exerts fake-out pressure. Whimsicott could be an offensive Pokemon. Of course, we don't know whether it's carrying Moonblast or not. Whimsicott typically used mainly for speed control and support moves. Of course, getting access to that Prankster. So, you always have to be aware of an Encore from Whimsicott, but Whimsicott here, of course, does have the option to set up Tailwind. We actually see a switch out here.
So, Togekiss will be leaving the field. We're actually going to see Hitmontop coming in instead, so cycling in and Intimidate to put some pressure onto that Kangaskhan. The Intimidate will be dropping the Kangaskhan's attack by one stage. We're going to see a Mega Evolution now coming out from the Rayquaza, which is going to roar into the sky, give a big swish just to say that Cory Connor has arrived on the World Championship final stage. Are we going to see the Mega Evolution coming out from Kangaskhan as well?
Most likely here. I'd be surprised if it did Mega Evolve.
So we've got the Delta String going up for Mega Rayquaza. Mega Kangaskhan is going to Mega Evolve now, and we're going to see the baby popping out for the first time in our World Championship final here. Are we going to see the Fake Out going on to any Pokemon? We've got the Protect coming out from Rayquaza here. From Shu's side, we're going to see a Fake Out going into that Rayquaza, and from Whimsicott, we're going to see the Trick Room.
Oh, Trick Room!
That is not a speed option that we considered.
Yeah, no, you know, Whimsicott typically is used for Tailwind because of the fact that it uses, you know, it uses Tailwind because it's such a fast Pokemon naturally, but Trick Room Whimsicott making an appearance here, really exciting to see. Of course, anytime you protect, you always have to be really afraid against Whimsicott because Whimsicott does get access to Encore. However, what Cory did there at least is he gets the Intimidate against Kangaskhan, so Kangaskhan now does reduce damage, and your Hitmontop has Fake Out pressure, so you can imagine a Fake Out and a Dragon Ascent going into that Whimsicott slot. Of course, this all changes a little bit if Whimsicott actually has Protect, because if it can Protect, then it can Encore you into a Fake Out.
We're actually just going to see a close combat going on to the Kangaskhan. One-hit knockout. Cory Connor taking Mega Kangaskhan down before it can even attack. Really aggressive play there. Hitmontop slow speed really coming in clutch for Cory Connor. We're going to see a Sword Stance as well. Wow, Cory is really making a name for himself in this turn
going
two.
Back down? Oh no,
there's the Moonblast coming out from Whimsicott. How much damage will this do to Rayquaza? We'll leave it with about a third of its HP there, but a really big turn for Cory.
Yeah, really nicely played there. So Cory's saying, you know what, I don't care if you have Encore. I'm just going to go for it here because maybe he was expecting Shu to go for a Protect or switch out the Whimsicott. So Cory able to fully capitalize off there, and we actually see the Hitmontop one-hit knockout the Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is a relatively bulky Pokemon, right? So to get that close combat knockout and render Kangaskhan useless is a big deal.
So we actually see Hitmontop leaving the field now, probably wanting to save that Intimidate for later in the game to get onto Ferrothorn. We're going to see Togekiss coming in now, and we're going to see a Protect coming out from the Ferrothorn on Shu's side of the field. Are we going to see a Protect from Rayquaza as well? Yes, we are. So just stopping the Encore into Sword Stance there, and Togekiss alongside it to protect from any sort of Encore later on in the game. We see a Moonblast instead going onto that Togekiss slot, so Shu not falling into the trap of aiming an Encore at that Rayquaza.
Yeah, and we're not sure even if it does have Encore at this point, but once again, I think Cory's been playing this game exceptionally well. Now the Togekiss is in, and it can just redirect any attacks away from either Pokemon, and Ferrothorn is a really big threat, I think, in this matchup, but Cory's gotten that Sword Stance up with Rayquaza, so now your Togekiss can just redirect all attacks away with the Follow Me.
So we're going to see the Follow Me, as you said there, Aaron. So Togekiss will be redirecting attacks towards it. And we're going to see a Gyro Ball coming out from the Ferrothorn. It's going to do big damage, super effective damage.
Oh!
clutch survival from Togekiss there, and we're going to see the Dragon Ascent roaring up into the sky. It's going to go into the atmosphere, going to slam down onto that Ferrothorn. How much of this? Oh, one-hit knockout as well. Wow. So Cory Connor is just taking some names here. This is a really big showing from Cory. Shu is going to have to really think about what he is going to have to do in this game too to claw his way back.
Yeah, you know, it's not over yet. We are going to see the Moonblast at least connect with the Togekiss to pick up a knockout. But, you know, you got to wonder, why was the Trick Room really set up in the beginning? Cory was actually able to fully just take advantage of that Trick Room. You know, Kangaskhan wasn't able to do anything under it. Whimsicott's been able to get Moonblast off, but this Whimsicott's actually slower than the Rayquaza under Trick Room, so Rayquaza's just getting these strong attacks off constantly. But not over by any means. We do see the Hitmontop come back in. Intimidate doesn't really matter very much against a Kyogre and a Whimsicott. But, of course, you've still got a Rayquaza sitting at +2 attack.
Especially with Fake Out support alongside it, we could be seeing a Fake Out going into either of these two slots, and a double target would just pick up the knockout. We saw yesterday how much damage Mega Rayquaza can do to these primal Pokemon once it has a Sword Stance up.
Right, but this is actually still a big opportunity for Shu. I don't think it's over in the sense that I think really Cory has to call it correctly here. I mean, you could fake out the Kyogre, right? Because Kyogre right now should be able to outspeed the Rayquaza, but, you know, a Whimsicott here might just be able to get an attack off, or maybe you can go for a double protect here. Maybe you can, if you do have that Encore option, Encore Hitmontop after a potential fake out here. So Trick Room here, you know, could help Shu out a little bit more this time around, but we'll see if we see any fake out plays here.
We're just going to see the Protect from Rayquaza on Cory's side of the field. Doesn't want to take an Ice Beam onto that slot. We're going to see close combat onto Shu's Primal Kyogre.
Oh my gosh, did so much.
So Hitmontop really working hard, putting in a lot of damage in this game. We're going to see an attack into Rayquaza there, and from the Whimsicott again into that Rayquaza's Protect.
Oh, a double
Trick Room ends.
Yeah, so Kyogre not opting to go for a Spread Water type attack there either, which is a big deal, and now this Rayquaza is still looking really scary because of the extreme speed threat. If that Hitmontop has something like a feint, you can just feint in extreme speed, and we actually don't see a feint. Extreme speed just comes out.
There we go, extreme speed directly onto the Primal Kyogre, which knocks it out as well. So that is Shu's restricted Pokemon done for this game, and we're going to see the rain leaving the field now because Primal Kyogre is down. Feint onto the Whimsicott there just to get some chip damage on and break a potential Focus Sash, and now the Moonblast will pick up the knockout onto this Mega Rayquaza, but it's still 3 against 1.
Yeah, I do want to point out that I misspoke a little bit earlier there. The extreme speed actually goes before the feint because of the priority bracket there. So, you know, a potential play that Shu could have made was protecting the Kyogre and going for a Moonblast there onto the Rayquaza to pick up a knockout. But the main issue for Shu is that Cory was able to just get a lot of extra damage off there onto the Kyogre, and Cory is able to bring in his Kyogre without having taken any damage right now. And so there's very little I think that Shu can do to win this first game, but, you know, it wasn't a matchup that was completely favored in Cory. There were definitely some better plays that Shu could have made, so it's not over by any means. But Cory played that really well.
So Cory now with 2 Pokemon left, only up against Whimsicott on Shu's side of the field. So if you're Shu and you're thinking about what's going to happen in this second game, how would you adjust, Aaron?
Right, I mean, first of all, Ferrothorn's really good in this matchup, but you have to watch out for that Rayquaza. We saw that Rayquaza was able to get a Swords Dance and instantly was just able to one-hit knock out the Ferrothorn. Second of all, Trick Room went up, but, you know, Shu wasn't just able to capitalize off any of those turns of Trick Room in the first couple of turns, and Trick Room is something you really need to be able to micromanage really well.
We're going to see a Moonblast onto this Hitmontop, and it's going to do a significant one-hit knockout there, so quite the offensive Whimsicott there, or maybe there's just no special defense training in that into the Hitmontop. We see the Icy Wind.
Oh my gosh.
Which does a big amount of damage, single target attack onto the Whimsicott, and Cory Connor will take this first game here in the World Championships Finals for the Junior Division.
Yeah, a lot of important information still coming out of that last turn though, right? Moonblast is able to pick up the one-hit knockout onto Hitmontop. Kyogre has Icy Wind, which is a move that we don't see that often on it. It's a really good tech move, but it's one that, you know, is really important because it means that Kyogre does have a means of speed control, and that can be a big deal when you're facing against opposing primal Pokemon, which are in the exact same speed bracket. So, you know, if you're Shu, you have to stay composed there. Cory played that really well, but, you know, Shu can definitely think, okay, there were some plays that just I didn't, you know, think out maybe too well, or I didn't go out too well in my favor. For example, Trick Room going up and then not being able to utilize that Trick Room. I think that's the biggest thing that Shu's probably going to want to adjust with.
If you're Connor right now, you're sitting at a 1-0 advantage in this final. Do you think that you need to make any adjustments here?
I mean, I think the strategy that Cory adapted there was really strong, right? Togekiss plus Rayquaza is a really good combination, especially if you get that Swords Dance onto Rayquaza, and that's exactly what Cory is able to do. Once you get that Swords Dance, you're able to just Dragon Ascent anything on Shu's team, and Shu doesn't really have many ways to stop those Dragon Ascents. I believe everything on its team him is actually hit for either super effective or neutral damage. And that's really scary when Mega Rayquaza, one of the strongest hitting Pokemon in the format, is able to get that Sword Stance off.
So guys, left-hand side of your screen will be Shu Harasaki, and his team will be Kangaskhan, Cresselia, Whimsicott, Ferrothorn, Groudon, and Kyogre. Cory Connor's team again will be Kyogre, Rayquaza, Togekiss, Thundurus, Scizor, and Hitmontop. It's going to be an amazing second game. We see the handshake here.
Let's give some noise to both of these players. This could be the game-deciding set.
So you can see the crowd there going wild. It's going to be an amazing set between these two players. Shu Harasaki of Japan, Cory Connor of the United States of America. Cory up 1-0 in this set so far. And we're going to get right into it, guys. Let's get some noise on this field. We can see Togekiss Rayquaza again for Cory Connor. Shu Harasaki mixing things up with Cresselia and Groudon.
Yeah, we didn't see either of those Pokemon in the last match, and I do like this adjustment a little bit here. You know, you at least change up your strategy. You really have to wonder, though, what exactly does Cresselia and Groudon have in terms of hitting the Rayquaza and the Togekiss? One reason why Togekiss is so good on this team is because it's able to redirect so many attacks away. One of the reasons why Rayquaza has been a Pokemon that we've seen maybe not do as well up until the World Championships is because it's really frail and it's still very easy to knock it out. So that's why, you know, it's so often to see the Focus Sash item on it to guarantee an attack or a Sword Stance off. And, you know, when you have Togekiss on the field, it just means you can redirect attacks away. If Cresselia, however, has Gravity here, you know, you could just go for Gravity Precipice Blades, and that's a really, really strong combination. But I still like Cory's position a little bit more here. You're able to maybe flinch something with Air Slash, and Mega Rayquaza still looks really strong.
Well, speaking of looking very strong, we're going to see Mega Rayquaza actually hit the field now. Again, roaring to the sky. Cory Connor 1-0 in this set so far. We're going to see the Delta Stream activating, removing Desolate Land from the field. So any sort of potential Ice-type attacks will not be doing that much damage to the flying types for Cory Connor. Follow Me coming out on Togekiss. And we're going to see a Source Buds once again on the first turn for Mega Rayquaza. So again, Cory Connor looking to take advantage of that big strength boost.
An Eruption coming out though, it's big damage.
So big damage from Eruption there. Togekiss left with just over half HP. What is this? This is going to be a Trick Room once again from Shu Harasaki.
Yeah, but I like this Trick Room so much more than what happened the last game. In the last game, basically, Shu's Pokemon weren't really well equipped to play under Trick Room, but this time around, Cresselia and Groudon, you know, those are probably two of the best Pokemon in this format to have under Trick Room. But you still have to be a little bit worried. We did see that extreme speed come out from that Rayquaza, so you have to wonder whether there's a Gravity coming out here. And of course, Hitmontop switching in is always a possibility, as we do see it here because of that Intimidate, reducing Groudon's physical damage output. So even if there is a Gravity and a Precipice Blades combination coming out here, it's going to do significantly less damage.
So we see the Intimidate hitting onto that Groudon, which will reduce physical type attack damage. And we see the Rayquaza going to protect itself here. So Cory's doing really well protecting the boost from the Rayquaza. Attacks into the Rayquaza are going to, oh no, double up onto that Rayquaza as well. We see the Eruption going to hit onto the Hitmontop. How much will this do? Leaves it just under half HP as well.
Yeah, so that's some really good damage there, and, you know, if you're Shu, you've got to be feeling at least a little bit better. You haven't taken any damage yet, and there's still 3 turns of Trick Room, but Cory has put him into a better, himself into an okay position here because he can just Fake Out and Dragon Ascent. Of course, then there are mind games. Do you predict the Groudon to protect, and if you do you go for a Feint? You know, Cresselia here did go for the Ice Beam last turn, but it's going to go for a Helping Hand this turn.
Big Helping Hand here from Shu's Cresselia. We see Hitmontop.
Oh, no!
Oh, so the Fake Out really well played from Cory Connor there, making sure that the big damage option wouldn't be available to him.
Who's it targeting? Is it going to be Groudon? That's going to be a big knockout if it is. Groudon's such an offensive threat here.
Here we go. Or Cresselia instead, and that's a 9 HP. Shu Harasaki looking very pleased with the survival there. And the Citrus Berry activating now as well. Going to push it a little bit over the red there, but a lot of damage dealt that turn, but a really great survival from Cresselia.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, really good. If you're Shu, you had to have felt a little bit worried when you saw the Fake Out going to Groudon, because if that Groudon gets doubled up and knocked out, you know, you lose one of your most offensive threats against Cory's team. Now, you know, Rayquaza's defenses are decreased as well. Of course, Hitmontop always does have that Wide Guard potential, and Rayquaza can Extreme Speed Groudon to reduce its Eruption damage. But if you're Shu, you know, that's probably the best case scenario that you could have gotten, given that the prediction that you were going for didn't work out in your favor. At least Groudon's still around. Cresselia can still potentially get some damage off it. Here's a Wide Guard.
Speaking of that Wide Guard, we do see one coming out from Hitmontop here. We're going to see a Precipice Blades, but we actually see an Ice Beam from Cresselia onto that Rayquaza slot with the defense drop.
Oh!
It doesn't knock out Rayquaza.
Oh, but the prediction!
Oh, the Earth Power onto the Hitmontop. Will it pick up the knockout here? It will. Hitmontop is going down, but Rayquaza is still on the field. Are we going to see a big Dragon Ascent onto that Primal Groudon? Here we go. Dragon Ascent from Mega Rayquaza going up into the atmosphere. Who is it going to take out here? Primal Groudon. One-hit knockout. Cory Connor taking out Primal Groudon for Shu Harasaki.
And if I'm Cory, I'm probably relatively content about that turn. You know, I lost my Hitmontop, but I got the knockout onto Groudon, and Groudon is just such, once again, a big offensive threat. But if you're Shu, at least you're kind of in a better position than that last game. You know, that last game kind of just went downhill right from the start after Trick Room went up, and you were trying to claw your way out of your own Trick Room here. Now Rayquaza is, you know, one hit attack away from being knocked out. But of course, being at +2 attack, it can get an extreme speed off that could potentially knock out Cresselia. But Ferrothorn is a really excellent Pokemon to have in here right now.
Yeah, so we do see that Ferrothorn hitting the field, and Togekiss will come back for Cory Connor as well, so any Gyro Balls going onto that Togekiss will do big damage. Any Gyro Balls going onto that Rayquaza will knock it out as well.
Yeah, absolutely, but the Togekiss here obviously still a little bit scary, right? If Gyro Ball can knock out Togekiss, then an Ice Beam could obviously just knock out Rayquaza as well, but Rayquaza does have that extreme speed potential. Now, Shu's Ferrothorn is really key in this game because Cory doesn't have a way to really hit it for really hard damage other than close combat from him on top and a Dragon Ascent from the Rayquaza. So we're going to see a switch out here, actually.
So Togekiss is going to leave the field, so Kyogre coming in instead for Cory Connor. So the Delta Stream will now be removed. We're going to go under Primordial Sea, so any Water-type attack damage from Kyogre will be big. But obviously it does resist that Gyro Ball. If there's a Power Whip coming out from Ferrothorn here on a read, then that will do some big damage.
Yeah, that would be a really, really impressive prediction here. Let's see what both players opt to go for.
So Rayquaza, again, is going to protect itself. Cory doesn't want to take any unnecessary damage and lose Mega Rayquaza too early. We're going to see the Gyro Ball. It's going to go onto that Primal Kyogre slot there. Ooh, doing a fair amount of damage, actually. So leaving with just about 2/3 HP. Ice Beam onto that slot as well.
We get a freeze.
So here we go, just above half HP.
Critical hit!
But no freeze. And that's Trick Room done.
Yeah, that's a big deal here because now your Rayquaza can actually just Dragon Ascent and Kyogre can just go for a Water-type attack into Cresselia, and that's why losing Groudon was such a big deal. Without Groudon, you don't have the ability to shut down Water-type attacks from Groudon or Kyogre at any point here. Let's see if we just see 2 attacks coming out. Oh, here's the Dragon Ascent!
So once again, Dragon Ascent will come out from that Mega Rayquaza. Who will it slam onto? It's going to be the Ferrothorn.
Oh!
It's going to do a lot of damage. That's a one-hit knockout there as well. And will the Iron Barbs be able to pick up the extras onto the Mega Rayquaza?
It is.
There we go. Mega Rayquaza going down, but a lot of big knockouts there and a lot of huge damage done by that Pokemon. So Cory must be happy with how that's gone for him. Ferrothorn will be leaving the field now as well, and Kyogre has the chance to just get a big Origin Pulse off. A single target attack onto that Cresselia. It's going to knock it out as well.
Yeah, opting for the Origin Pulse there, though. If Origin Pulse missed, that could have been really bad for Cory. But instead, Cory is now 1 Pokemon away from winning this World Championship. He just needs 1 more knockout. He must be able to feel it right now. Togekiss and Kyogre, pretty strong Pokemon to have right now against Shu's team. And Shu's lost both, where he does have the Kyogre here. So, you know, it's not over by any means, but you have to be really scared because Togekiss has Air Slash and it can flinch. And depending on how fast it is, if it outspeeds, it could potentially just continue to use those Air Slashes. So this is going to be a tight finish here because this time it's kind of reversed, right? Shu's Kyogre is still at full HP, whereas Cory's Kyogre is heavily damaged. Or not heavily damaged, but, you know, taking around 50%. But anytime it's a 2-on-1, you know, you still have to be really worried.
It also does depend on the speeds of these Pokemon. But we're going to see
it's faster!
The School directly onto the Kyogre there. Will get a burn. It gets a critical hit though. No burn. We're going to see a Water Spout coming out from the Primal Kyogre.
Does it knock out the Togekiss? It doesn't!
Togekiss survives. Really clutch survival from Togekiss there. We can see the Air Slash. Yes, we do. So information, we do not have a speed. The speed advantage is with Cory's Kyogre, possibly, and the speed tie. But Togekiss does not outspeed to get the flinches with the Air Slash.
Yeah, which is a big deal here. Now it's going to come down to, does Shu have something other than Water Spout, right? The Water Spout's damage is going to be reduced. This could be the game-deciding turn.
Here we go. The Scald coming out. 37 HP left. Are we going to see the burn? No burn. What are we going to see from?
It's a Water Spout. That's not going to be enough.
Togekiss has now gone down, but with the ability to use Scald on Shu's Primal Kyogre, Cory could be in it to win it.
No Origin Pulse option there from Shu, or him not opting to go for it. We know Cory's Kyogre is faster. He should be able to just outspeed and pick up the knockout. Here we go. Will this Scald be able to pick up the knockout?
Yes,
it does!
So Cory Connor is your Junior World Championship finalist. He is your new world champion. Congratulations to Cory, commiserations to Shu, but a really well-played match from both of these competitors.